Hello, learners. Welcome to our session today. I am your instructor, CPA Ringo Frederick. In our class today, it is a continuation of what we started earlier on. Recalling our previous class, we had introduced the concept to do with a pivot table, where we talked of a pivot table basically as a summarization tool, which will enable us basically to summarize a huge data that I'll be having in a very summarized way. So in this case, we're having a source data here. This source data basically is in relation to a company dealing with the aspect of supply of various commodities, and specifically at this point, basically we are talking of a company which has which normally supplies products in different counties. So, and of course country as well. So in this case, basically, we're having the products, we're having the order date, we're having the order ID, customer name, city, country, salesperson, region, ship date, ship name. We're having the aspect of all these details of ours, right? So what I want us to do on this, that we'll find that at times you'll be having a very huge data, and you'll be required to summarize your task into various components. So our job here today is looking at our task is basically to do a summary of sales revenue by salesperson using pivot table, summary of sales revenue by region using pivot table, summary of sales revenue percentage by region using pivot, summary of sales revenue by categories using pivot table. So you'll find that at this point is an area where you realize that a pivot table is a very powerful tool. That pivot table is a very powerful tool. So you can download this document. Just below this video, you can download this document, which you can use it to follow up this class as well, so that we work it out together. So first thing first, as always, we say that at this point, I'll select anywhere in my source data. Then from there, you need to go to insert, right? Then you pick the pivot table. So you'll realize that the moment I've selected like that, it will pick the whole source data. And here we're having what? We're having our source data basically, and this selector table range. It has picked all my table range. Because we want to do various tasks, in this case, you can use a new workbook. So therefore, I'm going to create a new workbook. So that is our new workbook. Pivot has appeared. Our task basically will include, number one, we need to do a summary of sales revenue by salesperson using pivot table. So sales revenue by salesperson. So first thing that we need to do, recall our drag fields areas. This area here where we talked about in our last class. So we need sales. Our first task is basically to summary of sales revenue by salesperson using pivot table. So that would be easy. I'll come to our salesperson. Basically, these are the salespersons, right? So I'm going to have it in row. We need revenue. So basically, I'll come and select our revenue, right? So automatically, it will display for us the revenue that you're having. So basically, these are the first data that you're having. Each salesperson, and you're having the revenues there as well. So that's the first procedure that you needed to prepare. I need this to indicate my salesperson. So recall the procedure. You come to design, report layout, we do show tabular form. So basically these are salesperson. So at this point, probably another key area that I'll also wish to maybe know, who was the salesperson who was giving us the most, or who was generating actually more income if we were to compare. So in this case, we can just come and sort from largest to smallest, or in this case, we can do sort in this case, let's do from largest to smallest, right? So at this point, I can clearly see that Nancy Freehofer was a salesperson who generated more of the income that you're having here. And these are what you can clearly see. This is what you can clearly see. Probably I wish to know the products that this person probably was selling, right? What are these products that this person sold for us to generate that income? How will you go about it? So basically, to identify, probably if I want to do a clear summary to know that Nancy, in this case, what did she sold for her to achieve this much? Probably we can do by product, by category. That will be easy. So in this case, remember, this is just a summary, right? I need to know clear details of what Nancy sold for her to generate this much. That will be easy. See the magic with the pivot table. I'll come to like either product name or category. We can go with say like a product name. So I'll come and drag it under each salesperson, so that at this point I can clearly see that if it is Nancy, see, these are the products that we're selling. So we're having blanks. We're not supposed to have the blanks, because in this case it won't be ideal if it appear in our reports. So let's get rid of these blanks. So I can't get rid of the blanks just like that. I have to go to our source data. Then from our source data, basically, at this point, of course, we can filter and see why we are having the blanks. Where are the blanks areas? More so for the products. Why are we having blank areas in our products? So in this case, I'll come and see why are we having the blanks. Products, you'll find that they are appearing blanks because these are shipping fees only, right? You can clearly see that. Basically, they are shipping fee. So maybe at this point, yeah, we can have them as shipping fees, so that at this point we should not be having any form of blanks, because at that point, of course, it will make sense if at all, if this data probably appears in our report like that. So it will be very clear for us to show that probably this data basically was for what. So you'll find that after I've inserted the source data, I just right click and refresh, so that you'll see that where I'm having the blanks, where we had the blanks, it has been substituted by the shipping fees, right? Shipping fees. So clearly at this point, I can clearly come and say that I'm having Nansa Free Hafa, who sold the most, and these are the items that he sold. The same case with Andrew, Anne, Michael, Laura, all these salespersons, right? So if at all you want it in a columnar form or in a columnar way, you can also just come and drag it in our column. It will give us the same results. So this time round, it is in a column way, you see, whereby I can scroll and see what this person sold. So basically, the same results I'll achieve, the same results I'll achieve, the same results we are going to achieve. So these are some of the ways that, of course, you can always tend to work out our items, or maybe to have a summary. The filter, I can basically decide to identify if I want beers only. You'll find that these are the persons who sold beer. If at all, maybe I want to determine probably maybe chocolate. These are the individuals who sold chocolate and their prices. So basically, I can manipulate my data the way I want it to be, the way I want it to be, the way I want it to be. So these are some of the ways that you can use a pivot table. So in this case, I'll just remove the product bit. You can do the same with category if at all you want to do categories. To know the product categories that each individual kind of sold during the period. I can have a product category as well. So basically, you can manipulate your data in a way that you, depending on the results that you want to achieve. You can manipulate your data depending on the results that you want to achieve. Because our task was to do a summary of sales revenue by salesperson using pivot table, in this case, you're just going to do that summary, of course, as per our salesperson like that. So, having achieved this, the next probably item that we can decide to do is majorly maybe to insert a graph, basically to show or to indicate a graphical representation of this data of ours. So how will you go about it? That will be easy. What you can do, you just come to recall, you come to insert. I have my pivot chart that I want to insert. We can do them by salesperson like that, or we can decide to do it bar, basically depending with how presentable you want your data to be for the purpose of when we'll be required to prepare the dashboards as well. So I'll just click that bar, then okay. In that case, you'll find that it will give me a summary on that case. So it will give me a summary for each individual person. It will give us this summary of ours here. Probably I realize that first of all, you'll find that if at all you were to look at our data here, the results, it is the opposite with what is being represented here, because it has started with the smallest to largest, whereas here we are talking of largest to smallest. Ideally, because we want uniformity and also maybe consistency, in this case, you'll find that it will be very ideal that we also place our bar, or rather our graph, to represent this data that we're having here. So how will you go about it? In this case, that will be easy. So what I'll be required to do, you come and select where we're having the names. Then we do right click. I want to format my axis. So just come and format axis. In formatting our axis, I'll be having all these categories. So I want my data to be categorized in reverse order. So if I click reverse order, you see the magic that has changed, the magic that has been done here, whereby you'll find that our data here now is being represented, and or rather it is now in actually they're now the same, they're now uniform with this tabular format and in our graphical format. So I can decide to get rid of this, so that these are what you're having. Then probably I realize that I need to squeeze this bar. So the same procedure, we come format data series, then I reduce the gap width, right? I reduce my gap width like that. I'll also feel like probably I'll also wish to add some data labels on each and every bar. So the same procedure, you come and add data labels so that it will represent how much each individual had. Basically, these are the results. And I'll also feel like at this point, maybe I'll also wish to change the fill. Probably I'm in love, say like with another color. I can decide to come and select whichever color that we need here. We have so many colors. So basically at this point, I can select any color. I can just do any color actually. So basically this is our results, a summary whereby I'm having from this huge source of data, I've come and presented in this manner, which anyone can understand. If I was to explain or to present this somewhere, of course, I'll mention that from the source data that we had, of course, we had Nancy Freelancer, Freehafer, who had the most sales, followed by Andrew and all this. If they want more details, of course, you can always tend to go and prepare in terms of the product that each individual had. So this is the first procedure, or what you're supposed to do in terms of the summary. So I'm going to rename this sheet of ours Salesperson Summary. Salesperson's Revenue Summary. Right? So after that case, probably let us do another task which is not amongst our task, by category or by product, to see like, or rather to identify that each individual person, and I will want a graphical representation in each individual person. If at all you were to look at their sales, basically if at all you were to consider the category who was selling, which category and which category was being sold the most, like that. Okay, so we duplicate this. So basically I left click, I carry, then I press Control. So in this case of ours, basically I'll need to get rid of that because I won't require that at this point. In this case, we want, of course, by salesperson's revenue, basically salesperson's revenue. And at this point, maybe all we'll want to do is to have by category, right? So the same case, I'm going to include my category. So basically, or product, we can work with category. So each individual person to display this data. In this case, we can insert our chart to see the best chart that will fit, pivot chart. In this case, maybe I'll wish to have, I want to select the best one that will fit here clearly. That is by person to about. I just want to select the one that will be very suitable for all of us, or rather to understand it clearly. So if we were to check, let us see if these results will give us accurate, because at times some data might kind of be, in that case, which one will fit best. I just want to see, like if we were to, assuming I'm having this is too congested, right? This is basically too congested. So basically, if at all it won't fit the way we wish it to fit, basically showing by items, I think that will be too congested, so no need of us doing that, where I'll just remove that. Now, we can probably rename this. We go to the second task here, summary sales by region. So these are summary sales by region. So I'll rename this summary sales by region. Summary sales by region. So you'll find that once I had our pivot, what we can do here, that will be very easy. I'll come and replace my salesperson by region. So where do you have our region? This is a region, so I'll just select my region, summary sales by region, which in this case you're having it at that point. So by region, of course, you can also determine, or rather at this point, I can also want to maybe see like which region are the most sales. So you can sort it from largest to smallest. So in North region, that's where we had the most sales, where in this case, if I want to know the category that we had, the category that we sold, of course, you just come and have that. So basically, it will just give us the summary that we had. That is a country, I want category. So based on our categories, you'll find that North region, these are what we had. If at all I was to also sort it from largest to smallest. So based on this, you'll find that in North region, it is beverages is where we had the most sales. East, we had dried foods, that's where we had the most sales. South, we had these are sauces. west we had beverages. So basically you'll find that I can manipulate my data to present the data that I wish to achieve using pivot table. We can do a lot of things using pivot table to manipulate our data basically to achieve the results that I wish to achieve. So like in this case, you'll find that these are what I'll be having. Summary of our data by region and categories, right? As easy as that. Maybe I'll also wish to have products, probably, columns, for example. In that case, you'll find that I'll be having category and the products that you're selling. It will give us a full summary here. See? Basically, in this case, I can clearly come and identify, say like I'm having our categories, which are beverages. So beverages, we had beer, we had coffee, we had green tea. The total was that much for that category. Dried fruits, in that I'll manipulate my data and present it in a very summary form. Basically, it will purely depend with the results that you want to achieve. It will purely depend with the results that you want to achieve. So I'll wish you guys to go through this and always try to manipulate and form probably the problem that you wish to solve. In our case, probably you can continue with what you wanted to achieve. These are the summary sales by region. Summary sales by region, right? We can decide probably that we need to add maybe graphical representation. So for graphical representation, basically we can add a pivot chart. So you just come insert. Now I know you guys, you're familiar with that. I'll wish to have my pivot chart at that point. Maybe in this case, I'll wish to format my gap width so that should be having it like that's okay. We can add our data labels. So basically we add the data labels. We can decide to change probably the field color. Outline, we can decide to have different outline. Maybe in this case, I'll select, say like assuming black, just to present our data in that, because as at the end of the day, we'll want it for presentation. These are what you can have. I can rename this total to be, of course, these summary sales by region. These are sales by region. Just basically to have the title of our bar. So that was the second task. Talk about the third task, summary of sales revenue by region using pivot table percentage. So if I want it in percentage, I'll duplicate summary sales by region percentage. So that would be easy, because what I'll be required to do, I'll just come here and in this case I'll wish to show my values as percentage of the grand total. You see, hula, as simple as that, it will give us by percentage. If I want to return it in values, I'll just come summarize by probably aspect of course, that is of course show values. We have count, show values, but in this case, because it is in percentage, so basically it won't, we have to redo it again, or just remove my cells, then return it back. So basically this is in percentage. Probably I'll wish to have a different format of presentation. So I'll come and insert my pivot chart. Maybe you can do donut. In this case, we can format my donut where I'll reduce the donut hole. We can just leave it there. It was to be a full donut, right? So in that case, presentation of that, of course, by region. Other item or format, probably we can add our callouts to represent the percentage. You see, manipulating our data the way I want it to be. You can manipulate the data the way I wish it to be. So then probably we can do this as a summary of sales percentage, summary of sales by region, sales by region percentage, right? That was the second, or rather the third task. The other task here, we are supposed to summarize our sales revenue by categories using pivot table. So by categories, that will be simple, my good students. So I'll just duplicate this. I left click, carry it, then control. So I rename this to be summary of sales by category. Summary of sales by category, right? I won't need that. So by category, that will be simple again. So what I'm going to do, of course, I remove that and bring it up to revenue so that it will pick what we had. So I need by category. So what you're going to do, of course, I'll remove region and come and put category. The same case, you can do it from sort from maybe largest to smallest. So you can clearly see that at this point, it is a beverage that we sold the most. It is a beverage that we sold the most throughout our region. I'll want to insert my pivot table, or rather my pivot chart. So I'll come, do pivot chart. If it is items, I'll go with that. So basically, these are what we've achieved. This is the result that we're achieving. I wish to increase to reduce our gap width, to be more presentable. And maybe also I'll wish to have it in form of to be in order with this. Recall, you come to format axis, we have categories in reverse order so that we achieve this. Right, we can as well want to have our data labels to basically show the exact amount that we are having. This is a summary sales by categories. Sales by category. So basically, this is what we are having here. You see, pivot table, basically from this huge set of data that we had here, from this huge set of data, I've come and presented it in a way that even a layman can be able to understand if we were to explain using these graphs that we had. So these are some of the tasks of pivot table, which you'll realize that it is always very powerful. And at this point, I wish you guys to take this chance. Having the video, you can always tend to manipulate your data the way you, depending on the results that you want to achieve. I've attached this document just below the video so you can always use it for practice. To this point, thank you so much, and let us meet in the next session. Thank you.